Hey everyone, and welcome back to The Explainer. So today, we're going to unpack a really fascinating framework, one that absolutely challenges our baseline assumptions. It's called uncommon sense marketing, strategic out-of-the-box thinking. You know, we live in a world where consumers are just completely bombarded by predictable messaging all day long. Honestly, standing out requires a fundamental paradigm shift. We're going to dive deep into exactly how you can trigger this cognitive shift, disrupt your standard routines, and completely reevaluate the strategic mechanics of how you approach your work. It's a game changer, so let's get right to it.
So what actually happens when common marketing meets uncommon sense? Just think about the inherent friction between those two ideas for a second. We are surrounded by common marketing every single day. And because it relies on standard operating procedures and those predictable best practices we all instinctively follow, it eventually just blends in. It becomes completely invisible to the consumer. This framework, though, it asks us to intentionally hit pause and inject something entirely counterintuitive into the mix. It's all about taking the expected, everyday business concepts we rely on and actively turning them on their head, just to see what shakes loose.
All right, let's jump right into Section 1, the core strategy module. Let's unpack the foundation of this whole approach.
So, defining this core uncommon sense strategy, it's really important to get that this isn't just some abstract theory you passively absorb. It's a highly active, collaborative module. The whole point is to have participants discuss traditional marketing, but explicitly through an unconventional lens. You aren't meant to just sit back and philosophize here, it's a dynamic exercise. It's designed to uncover what bends, what snaps, and honestly, what entirely new ideas emerge when you force yourself to analyze the old paradigms in completely unorthodox ways. Okay, moving right along to Section 2, 3 common marketing concepts. Where exactly do we apply this unconventional lens?
Well, we pointed directly at the heavy hitters. Number 1, positioning. Number 2, direct marketing. And number 3, marketing campaigns. I mean, we all know these pillars intimately, right? But actually, scratch that. That familiarity is exactly the problem. These 3 areas are often the most entrenched, rigid parts of a traditional marketing strategy. We get so used to the right way to run a campaign, or the standard way to define our brand's positioning, that we literally stop questioning the underlying logic. And that rigidity makes these 3 pillars the absolute perfect candidates for intentional disruption.
So when you force these deeply entrenched common marketing concepts to collide with an uncommon sense discussion, you create this deliberate, highly productive friction. The whole goal of applying this unconventional lens is to drag the status quo kicking and screaming out of its comfort zone. It forces you to ask the hard, bizarre questions. Like, what does a standard marketing campaign look like if we intentionally do the exact opposite of industry best practices? Or how does our direct marketing fundamentally shift if we apply logic that our competitors would consider completely backward?
Which brings us to Section 3, thinking out of the box. This is the ultimate outcome of the entire exercise. Now look, I know the phrase "think out of the box" has become a bit of an industry cliche. We hear it all the time. But the goal here isn't just to be different for the sake of being different. The true objective is to shatter those deeply rooted mental pathways that keep us stuck in conventional solutions. In this specific context, thinking out of the box means something highly actionable. It means finding the profitable white space that your competitors are completely ignoring, simply because they're blinded by common sense. By applying this structured friction, you break the traditional rules and guarantee a genuinely out-of-the-box perspective.
So I want to leave you with a question to really chew on. How will discussing your own marketing concepts with uncommon sense help you think out of the box starting today? Take your current campaign or your brand's existing positioning and subject it to this exact friction. Just don't accept the default. What established industry rules are you blindly following right now that could be brilliantly flipped? Embrace the unconventional, interrogate the standard practices, and see what incredible new strategies emerge. Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer. Keep learning and keep thinking differently.